Welcome to Let's Talk English Podcast. Learn English with Podcast.
Today, we're tackling that all too familiar feeling of being stuck when life seems to move forward, but you feel like you're standing still. Evan, have you ever experienced this sensation personally?
Absolutely, Aaron. It's like being on a treadmill. You're moving, but not actually getting anywhere. Outwardly, everything looks fine, but inside, you feel lost or disconnected. Many people go through this, even if they hide it well.
That's such a relatable analogy. I think it's crucial for learners to realize they're not alone in feeling this way. Before we dig deeper, can you explain why this sensation can be so subtle, yet so powerful?
Definitely. It often sneaks up in the quiet moments like during your morning routine or commute. You might be following a script, doing what's expected, but emotionally, you're on autopilot. It's a signal that something deeper needs attention.
Let's continue by exploring what it means to live on autopilot. When routines take over, what subtle signs show we might be disconnected from our true selves?
Great question. You might notice you're just going through the motions, waking up, working, socializing, but it all feels empty. It's like being an actor in someone else's play. Over time, this lack of engagement can lead to burnout or even depression.
That makes sense. Studies show that chronic disengagement can reduce motivation and well-being. So, if someone recognizes these patterns, what's a good first step to break free from the cycle?
Awareness is key. Start by pausing and reflecting. When do you feel most alive? Keeping a simple journal, noting moments of joy or frustration, can help you spot patterns and begin to reconnect with yourself.
Now, let's talk about outside influences. Many people live by other people's expectations, parents, teachers, even social media. Evan, how do these external pressures shape our choices?
They can be overwhelming. For example, if everyone around you is choosing a certain career path, you might feel pressured to follow, even if it doesn't fit. Over time, these influences can drown out your own desires, making it hard to hear your inner voice.
That's a powerful point. In fact, research on social conformity shows we often underestimate how much others' opinions affect our decisions. How can someone start tuning back into their own values?
It begins with asking honest questions. Am I doing this for me, or because I think I should? Writing down your answers can clarify where your true motivations lie.
Building on that, you mentioned the idea of an inner compass. Could you explain what this means in practical terms and how someone can check if theirs is pointing in the right direction?
Sure, think of your inner compass as your gut feeling or intuition. Practically, it means paying attention to what energizes you versus what drains you. If you feel dread or constant fatigue, your compass may be off course.
That's a helpful analogy. Are there any exercises you recommend for recalibrating, especially for language learners who might be juggling multiple expectations?
Absolutely. Set aside quiet time each week to reflect on what activities or lessons felt meaningful. Even a brief 10-minute walk while pondering these questions can help you realign with your core values.
Let's transition to uncertainty. Many people fear not knowing what's next, but you believe uncertainty can actually be a gift. Can you elaborate on that?
Certainly. Uncertainty creates space for exploration. When the path isn't clear, you're forced to get curious to try new things, learn new skills, or even reconsider old beliefs. Research in psychology shows people grow most during uncertain periods.
So, instead of fearing uncertainty, we can see it as a chance to reinvent ourselves. Could you give a real-world example of how embracing uncertainty led to a positive transformation?
Sure. Take someone who leaves a stable job with no plan B. Initially, there's anxiety, but soon they discover new passions, build resilience, and often find opportunities they never imagined.
Once someone accepts uncertainty, the next step is to look inward and identify core values. Why is this so essential for moving forward, especially when feeling lost?
Core values act as a personal compass, guiding choices and providing meaning. When you're disconnected from them, life feels directionless. Studies show people aligned with their values report higher satisfaction and lower stress.
That's fascinating. Can you suggest a simple exercise for listeners to uncover their own core values?
Yes, try writing down 3 things you care deeply about. Then, ask yourself if your daily actions reflect these values. Even small changes can help you realign your path.
After clarifying values, many people want to make big changes. However, you advocate for starting with tiny goals. Why is this approach so effective?
Tiny goals lower the barrier to action. Psychologically, small wins release dopamine, which boosts motivation. For example, saying one sentence in English each morning can build momentum, much like a snowball gathering size as it rolls.
That's a great analogy. Are there studies supporting the idea that small steps lead to lasting change?
Absolutely. The small wins theory in behavioral science shows that incremental progress increases confidence and makes larger goals more attainable over time.
Even with progress, tough days are inevitable. Let's discuss the role of support networks. How can friends or mentors help someone move forward when they feel lost?
Support networks provide accountability and empathy. Just having someone listen without judgment or advice can make a huge difference. A Harvard study found that social support is a key predictor of resilience during challenging times.
That's compelling. For language learners who might feel isolated, what practical steps can they take to build supportive communities?
Joining language groups, online forums, or even finding a study buddy can help. Sharing struggles and victories, no matter how small, fosters connection and motivation.
Let's talk about the importance of celebrating milestone 7, the small ones. Why do you think we often overlook our progress, and how can we change that?
Society tends to reward only big achievements, but recognizing small wins builds confidence. For instance, keeping a lost and found journal helps you see growth over time. Studies show that self-recognition increases perseverance.
That's insightful. What's one simple habit listeners can adopt to acknowledge their achievements as they learn English or work through life changes?
At the end of each day, write down one thing you did well, however minor. Over weeks, this habit rewires your brain to focus on progress rather than shortcomings.
We've used a lot of natural English expressions today. To wrap up, Charlotte will break down some challenging vocabulary. Charlotte, why is learning in context so crucial for language mastery?
Context brings words to life. When you hear idioms like heart to heart or on autopilot in real conversations, you grasp not just the meaning, but also the feeling behind them. This accelerates fluency and builds confidence.
Absolutely. Could you give an example of how a word's meaning shifts in context?
Sure. Take breakthrough. It means a significant achievement, but in our episode, it described a moment of deep personal insight. Learning in context helps you use words naturally, not just memorize definitions.